Hello. So my name professionally is Sarah Salvaci Hernandez. Sarahsalvaggi Hernandez Hernandez. I am a registered and licensed occupational therapist in Connecticut and in Massachusetts and soon to be Florida. And I'm just kind of coming in though, not as an OT, but as just an autistic LOLer. That's how, maybe, can that be a form of autism? The LOLers? Because, man, we find everything funny because it is. Words are funny. Words are so funny to me. And so, because of that, I have always, really liked South Park. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm wondering, curious if other people have actually watched South Park. We're very much celebrating, the comedians and being really fresh with some of the current events that are happening, which I love. But let me just also, because I actually love South Park. And I'm wondering if y'all have seen it. Because it is holy moly. If trigger me, if the intention of I will trigger you, you will trigger me, let's get triggered. If that could be bottled up, it would have been sprinkled all over South Park. Now, South Park, I mean, if you watch South Park, at some point, you will be offended. And that is, too many people, the point of comedy is to challenge the audience and to also dysregulate them to a point where they're able to laugh about it. Laughter is a normal regulating behavior. So some people, when they say, oh, I laugh when I'm nervous. Yes, that's exactly right. I laugh. I'm the giggle at a funeral. Hey, Hosier. Yes, laughing can be a regulating strategy. And so what comedians do really intuitively is dysregulate their audience and then get them to laugh at themselves for their own triggers. And there's healing in that, there's grieving in that, there's a lot of emotions that actually happen when people are, especially a live comedy show. And so Matt and Trey have always done that work where they are just very aggressive with their comedy. They are so aggressive with their comedy. And it is no holds barred. If you know Matt and Trey, it does not matter what political party you are. It don't matter who you are, where you come, you about to get made fun of. And if that's not okay with you, don't watch South Park. Don't watch Team America. Have y'all seen Team America? Well, you know what? Team America told us a lot of truth. And that's true for Matt and Trey. Matt Stone, Trey Parker. They tell truths and they are so uncomfortable because they're truths from their perspective. And so if I could talk about some of my favorite things that I've learned watching South Park or Team America, but also hold them accountable, because I think it's important. Number one, okay, South Park. Y'all, watch all the Tourette's episodes. If you want to see, and people will get a little squirrely and a little bit upset, if we talk about, mental health, mental unwellness, mental wellness, personality disorders, etc. But if you want to see the truth that people, when they are trying to push out words to control a situation, now sometimes that's narcissism, or we know that as narcissistic personality disorder. When somebody from their trauma is so rigid with their environment, controlling of their environment, that it becomes abusive to the people who are in the environment, right? Um, that is not 100% of the time. That's not 100% of the people who have been identified with that diagnosis. Super important to talk about. But in the South Park episodes, and specifically with Cartman, who had been diagnosed or identified with having Tourette's, what ended up happening, and this is a little spoiler alert, was that a lot of people assumed, sure, that Cartman was using the diagnosis to excuse his inflammatory, his instigatory, like language, etc., etc. And there was a lot of, like, I'm not, like, watch it. There's a lot of things that happen, and everybody in the situation's gonna get triggered because it's just very human interactions in cartoon form. So, so here's the spoiler alert. At the end of all of this, what is realized is that for Cartman in his situation, his diagnosis of Tourette's was actually uncovering for him that in his distress, he's actually revealing repressed and active trauma. That for him, now this is not, again, not for everybody, this is not everybody with the diagnosis, but and so it was actually like, whoa, for me, one of the first times that I started to realize when people are in distress, let's neutralize that. When people are in distress, neutralize. Sometimes they say words, they do things to control their environment to keep them safe. And that is often rooted in personal trauma. Something happened to you, and you genuinely, in certain situations, get activated and need to control. But when the ways that we're talking about how we need an environment to be controlled in order to meet our safety or what we perceive to be our safety needs, often reveals a lot about what happened to us. So it's important for the people who are receiving and hearing this and witnessing and affirming the humanity of that person to also be like, oh my goodness, you are actually telling me a lot with your words, with your behavior about what happened to you. And I also want to make sure that you're resourced and supported to heal from that. Okay, now that's South Park, like so many years ago. I remember when Trump was being elected the first time and watching South Park and being like, stop being right. Like, oh my gosh. Y'all, genuinely watch it. But be warned that you're going to be activated. Have a plan for yourself. Comedy is brutal, intentionally so. Comedy is brutal, intentionally so. Comedians will embed activating triggers in order to force dysregulation so you can laugh at yourself, get over it, and process it. Sometimes people aren't resourced or ready for that. So that's why, like, you got to know South Park. Number one, you're going to come up with there's a lot of things that are actually very activating and don't have the resolutions that you might think that they would have. That's probably a great way to encapsulate South Park. Another area of feedback, South Park can be brutal to women, and many women who have been the subject and targeted by Matt and Trey for their perceptions of like these women who are actually in distress, being sexually assaulted, being sexually groomed by industry, like real children. Matt and Trey used their platform to mock them. And those women have held them accountable. And now I don't know, to be honest with you, Matt and Trey's response. to their inappropriate use of their platform to target women like that. But I'm willing to hear what they have to say, and I'm also willing for those women like Paris Hilton to get out of their own, like, I'll get out of Paris's way. She is holding them accountable in such a empowered, I mean, reclamation of her trauma. Like, oh my God, I'm really proud of some of the women, including Paris, who have held them accountable. So just know that, like, this comedy, like, if y'all want to watch South Park, know you're going to be activated, and also know that this is the team that brought Team America. And if you've never seen Team America, watch it, because it's actually going to be really interesting to compare and contrast Team America to what is happening currently. You will probably be like, what the heck? Because that is the experience of watching anything that Matt and Trey do. You feel really called out, and also like awkwardly like, why is this happening? But no, Team America, if you identify with Hollywood and Democrats and things like liberals, boy, Team America is going to be hard to watch. So I will let everybody, like, please go enjoy South Park, enjoy Team America, like some of these things that Matt and Trey have offered you. But just know you will be activated. It may not be the comedy that you anticipated, because right now they're doing exactly what they've always done, which is just calling out current modern day truths. And they don't spare gender, they don't spare party, they don't spare ideology, they don't spare culture. They're really aggressive. So I mean, I like that. I like trigger me. Like a trigger for me, activate is, I like to use the word activation, because when I use the word trigger, people are like, "Is that your trauma?" And then I'm like, "Okay, I don't really want to talk about that. I'm just okay, so maybe I can say the word activation, because activation is a more neutral human term. So just make sure that like you resource yourself for activation, because I have to. Whenever I watch South Park, I'm like, "Ooh, girl, you need to get snacks, and make sure you get some proprioception after you watch any episode, because it, y'all, if you do watch Team America and you are liberal leaning, prepare yourself. Um, But anyways, maybe enjoy this weekend. And I know that so many people are into the new South Park. I love the this is just typical Matt and Trey. Typical typical comedian. Um Delightful chaos. Resource yourself for it. I'm not going to say it's right. I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm not going to say it's fair. I'm not even going to pretend like it's just. Sometimes it's really not. But that's their comedy. And um, if you just know, like, so you're celebrating some pretty, like, that's awesome. They deserve the celebration for that, like, the last episode. And know that you're about to have a really complex dialogue introduced to you via Matt and Trey's art. And good luck. So, anyways, I love you. What am I gonna do today? I'm gonna celebrate a lot of things, but probably at home, and enjoy this beautiful weather. Go out, touch some grass, keep connecting with friends. I've had so much fun recently. I watched Dungeons and Dragons with a friend recently, and we watched it on like Netflix together at the same time. But I could like, but it was like in a like app thing that you could like message each other. That was so fun. I had never seen Dungeons and Dragons, and that's funny because I'm actually like an old school game master, like hand coder, like write out all your code game master. So watching the new Dungeons and Dragons that was on Netflix was hysterical. It reminded me so much of all the campaigns and all the fun that we used to have role playing. Um, Yeah, so I think I might see if my friend is available to watch another movie with me because that's so much fun. I'm doing a lot of work to reclaim my joy. Maybe we'll watch a South Park episode. I don't know. But I hope you have a great day. I hope somebody tells you today how perfect, precious, and important you are. And I hope that you have opportunities throughout the day to not only have your humanity affirmed, but experience joy, experience inclusion, and experience compassion. We all deserve that. And I'm so grateful that you're here. Bye. Oh, finish. No. One more time, I'll flip my hair. Okay, now I'll finish.